So today's little session is dictionaries three ways, and I don't normally prepare code before, but I thought in this case it'd be a little bit easier because we can then see the code. And well, there's actually more than three ways of doing dictionaries, and one thing that I came across was this dict thing here, which is a constructor for making dictionaries over here, and kind of like we've got our regular way, and I'm going to call this sort of like the regular way, where and a dictionary is basically a set of key value pairs. So here's the key, and here's a value for the first pair, and then here's a key, and here's the value for the second pair, and here's a key, and this list here is the value for the third pair on our first dictionary. And I've created it in a different way using this constructor where you've also got key value pairs in the same way. So these blue ones here, if I can just click on that, these blue ones here are the keys over there, and these things here, so the Darren, the 20, and this list here which says bro and sis are the values. And then finally, we can really explicitly do this in a set of tuples. And the reason why I came across this is I saw it in a piece of code, and I've always, like pretty much ever since coding, have created dictionaries this way. With nothing wrong with it. Actually, it's called the regular way. And in fact, I pulled it up on Chat GPT. You can put it up in any of these things, sort of like you can see up here. Dict in Python to make a dictionary, and in Python the dict constructor, so that's what this thing here is called, as a constructor, can be used to create a dictionary object. The dict constructor accepts various arguments to initialize a dictionary. Here are a few ways of using it, and we'll just sort of like see when we hover over it and so forth. But this is how we create the dictionary. And to create it, like we could put this dictionary here into this dict constructor, but as we put, and I've just called it the regular way, this is effectively what we do. So this is kind of like method 2 really. This is an empty dictionary, just a blank, we won't consider that. And this is a dictionary with key value pairs that you want to put in. Now what's annoying is that semicolon that goes in there, because and also having to put the quotations around the key 1 and the value 1 and so forth. It just gets a bit cumbersome when you are typing it out. So if I wanted to create, like, I'll create a D4 down the bottom, and so like we'll see so like the speed, but like basically D4, and you could argue that it doesn't have much rationale to it, but let's have a look. So there we go. I start it off, and I now have to do some like first name, and then a colon, and then a and then a comma, and then over there I put an age, and I've got to like move outside. This is the thing, move outside of the quotations, and then do a 20, and then a comma, and then something like the siblings, and then bro, and just something like that, which is, it's okay. We can get there, but sometimes, like, just creating that, and this semicolon in particular is 2 key presses, at least on a UK keyboard. It's the shift and the semicolon, which gives the shift and the semicolon button, which gives us the colon button. So if I just press that the normal button, you'd get the semicolon. So you have to press the shift with it. So shift and then colon to give you that. So it's just slightly slower. Whereas when we do this dict constructor, so D4 equals. Oh, sorry, we'll go down here. D4 equals dict. We've got the IntelliSense as well that pops up. It sort of like tells you it's a dict, and we can see a new empty dictionary, and so forth for the key value. D equals, and then this thing for KV in the iterable, so it's telling you what it is, and so forth. I wonder if there's anything else. Nothing else, but it gives you like this little worked example down the bottom. But the nice thing about this is that basically you can sort of like do over here, you can see the formatting straight away goes in quite nicely, and then something like just first. But the one thing that we can't do is we can't have like strings there. So first name, Now this looks much more like Python code, if that makes sense, in the sense that like when we're creating our normal variables, age 20, I wish that I was, but and finally siblings, oh, not quotation, and then a list of bro and sis. And just the construction of this is just a tiny bit faster. We don't have any semicolons now, we've got equal signs. But one thing that we give up is I can't turn this one, I can't put a space, I've used an underscore over here, so I've done the camel case, the snake case effectively. So if I did put it in quotations, it throws me this error, we're not allowed to do that, so I can't gain the space from doing it. That's one thing that you lose out from it. But it's kind of like a bit cleaner and easier to see, so I think I sort of like this one. But I just wanted to throw in, I guess, the final case, which is this dictionary. So that's our first case, which is this regular way. The advantage, or one of the, are that we have a is that we can have the strings in here as the keys, as opposed to having to use an underscore for the in our keys. And but one of the disadvantages is that we're using the semicolon, and you might think that that's fine, and then just stick to the regular way. And I guess that's sort of like the adopted way. But here we get the sort of like colouring, and we can see what's going through, so the IntelliSense picking up on things. And so that's using using keyword arguments, creating a dictionary using keyword arguments. And then finally we can do creating a dictionary from a list of tuples. And what does that mean? Like, again, this is sort of like useful, but we have to sort of create a list. So when we did this D4 here, so D4, if we wanted to put a whole bunch of tuples in, so dict, and then over here we could make a list of tuples, but basically that is a list here. So here is our list. So this is these two brackets here are for the dictionary. That's the argument of the dictionary constructor, and inside the argument goes one list like that. So everything now has to go in here. So this is where our tuples go. So each key value pair belongs in a tuple like this. And you could actually say that this is, like, at least when I construct it like that, we can see that this is actually quite clean and nice as well. The advantage of this one over this one has an advantage over both, which is that we get the first name, so we can put in a string. We didn't need to put in the underscore, and also with a comma there, we can we don't have to have that semicolon anymore. So first name Darren, and again, if I go over there, we've got age, and the age is 20, and then finally over here we've got siblings, and got that's going to be a list in itself. So this one starts looking a bit more, should we say, a tiny bit more complicated, in the sense that now we've got a list inside a list. Maybe this, you could say that this one's a bit clearer, because we're starting to get a square. We've got one extra, or at least if this is a disadvantage, we've got one extra. For all of the games we've had, we've got one extra pair of square brackets for the construction of the list. So, and here would be bro and this over here, just like that. And I just wonder, for example, if over here I could have put, I don't think I could actually, first name, no, it wouldn't work quite like that. Although one of the nice things that you could do from this is that you could sort of like have fn equals first equals quotation first name. So you could have something like that, and then you could stick in here. You wouldn't have to put in first name. You can now put fn in there, and so you could get, you could do all of these nice things. So the constructor's quite nice like that. And again, I guess over on this one here, I'm wondering if you can put in a I wonder if you could set first name equal to, we could have a try on that one. I'm going to take this out just so that we can see, well in fact we don't even need it because we don't need the D4 there. But I'm just going to run this now. I'm going to run it in the interpreter here because I've just got other bits of code further above it. So I'm going to just run this here with a control return in a Python interpreter on the side, and we'll see that all of these, we're just connecting to the kernel at the moment, and we'll see that they all come out exactly as being the same. One thing that I did want to try is something like first name equals, and then do first name. So, and then I just wonder now, because our first name here is actually first name in here, I wonder what actually happens. So let's have a look. So just do F5 there. Oh, not F5, I don't want to do that one. Go Control J that one to get rid of it. I'll do a control return to run it. No, okay, fine. The first name still goes in that way. But anyway, that's kind of like created the dictionaries there. If I just run it one more time. But one thing to note on that is, if let's just go on to here. We see here we've got first name, and that comes from our first dictionary over there. That was our first name over there. And then here we've got this first underscore name. Now, if it doesn't bother you, and actually quite often, I actually tend not to use spaces. So this one for me is the kind of like the best, because, and there's reasons why you kind of like, sometimes you might want spaces, but generally speaking, using snake case when you're doing that, because it's normally like, you don't normally have a sentence in or anything particularly long that goes into like the dictionary keys. Normally, like it might be the header of a list, for example. So or like the header of a column of a table, and you don't want the header of the column of the table being too long. So you want it something like, you know, no more than maybe 2 or 3 words. So it's quite acceptable having camel casing in there. So again, it's a choice, but this is dictionaries 3 ways in Python, and now you've got them all. And I'm sure there's more than 3 ways, and you can be a little bit more creative in terms of, like, you know, how you put them in. These ones give you a bit more flexibility. So yeah, that's it.